Hey, how's it going, everybody? So, today we are going to do 100 books to read in 2026. My eldest child decided that we are each going to try and read 100 books. Then I told them that I'd give them 10 bucks for every 100 books that they read, and they decided they're going to try and read 1,000, which, hey, more power to you. So, I'm going to go over my 100 books that I picked out. I'm going to give very brief descriptions because I don't want to have any spoilers at all through them. So very, very brief. Um, and I'll also give you the authors of them. And yeah, I think that's just how we're going to let this video rock. And hopefully, we can get through as many of these as we can this year. I started rereading because whenever I had kids, it's been about, let's see, my oldest is about to turn 12. My wife and I had been together for a little bit before that. So it had been about 13 years since I had read a book leading up to Mistborn. And then I read Mistborn The Final Empire. And then as soon as I finished that, it took me 2 weeks and I read Age of Misrule World's End. And I have both of those reviews up on the channel if you guys want to check those out. So yes, 100 books is a little daunting, but I do believe if I prioritize my time correctly that I can get it done. And I'm obviously going to increase my pace at which I read a book, comprehend and understand the information as the year goes on. So, I'm going to start this year reading what I'm currently, I just started, and that is Age of Ascension, the part of the Era 1 of the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. And that trilogy is about a kingdom in suppression, how a group of thieves save everybody with this girl that they met who they somewhat adopted into their crew. And then they show her kind of what life can be like if you just trust people and view people as friends instead of everybody as out to get you. And as the story goes on, it dives into your classic medieval, almost, like I said, trying to overthrow the government. And then they're trying to reestablish the world after that. And so far, it has been absolutely incredible. So far, it's been absolutely incredible. So I will finish Age of Ascension, and then I will also read The Hero of Ages, which is the third part and the final of that trilogy. And that's Era 1 of Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. The next couple of titles that I'm going to read are also going to be by Brandon Sanderson. I don't think they will be in this order, but as I listed them, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just being like Brandon Sanderson, Stephen King, Brandon Sanderson, Robin Hobb. So yeah, the next book that I have is Elantris, and Elantris is also by Brandon Sanderson. It's the first thing that he had published. It's about a fallen magical city where the once divine inhabitants, the Elantrians, have become cursed, powerless beings. And yeah, it's honestly everything that I've heard from a lot of his stories piqued my interest. And his writing overall and the fact that it's a combined universe piqued my interest even more. So Elantris is a standalone book. We also have Warbreaker, which Warbreaker is also a standalone book. And that one is a world with a unique magic system based on breath and color. where people who die heroically return as immortal gods, is the description that I kind of was given. So, yeah, that sounds very interesting. Very, very interesting. Then we also have the Stormlight Archive, which is his big megalith. It's going to be 10 books altogether. There's 5 of them out right now. It is magic fantasy to a T, from what I have heard. And the way that he wraps things up at the end of each books, I've actually heard Words of Radiance is probably one of the top fantasy books of all time, and that's the second one in the book. I mean, in the series. So it's called the Stormlight Archive. There's The Way of Kings is the first one. Then we have Words of Radiance, number 2. Oathbringer, number 3. Rhythm of War, number 4. And we have Wind of Truth, number 5. And that's the last one that he has out currently. Then there's Arcanum Unbound, and that has a bunch of mini titles in it. So I will be reading that one. I'm looking very interested in that one because it apparently connects a couple of the universes. And I have already looked up where I need to like interject and read each story that's in there. So there's a couple of stories in that one. That one does very much excite me. Let's see. Okay. And then we have Dawnshard. And Dawnshard takes place between the 3rd and the 4th book of the Stormlight Archive series. So it goes in with that story from what I've heard. And it's a shorter novella from my understanding. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then we have Mistborn Era 2, which is like a steampunky type. And from my understanding, it has new main characters. But it still is based around the same power system, which I'm awesome. The Mistborn power system of allomancy and feruchemy is very well done. It's a metal-based system, almost like Magneto, to where you can push and pull, but it has more rules to it, and the rules make it very, very interesting. So the Mistborn Era 2 has the Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, the Bands of Mourning, and the Lost Metal. And I think the Lost Metal is in Arcanum Unbound. I do believe. So I'm definitely looking forward to all of those. And then we have Tress of the Emerald Sea, which follows a young woman named Tress who leaves her simple island life to rescue her love interest, Charlie, from a sorceress by sailing across a deadly sea of spores. So yeah, I hear that one is very good. I hear that the spores are way more dangerous than what you would expect. And he wrote it with Princess Bride as inspiration. So we'll see how that one goes. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Then we have Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which is a story that follows Yumi, a spirit summoner from a structured society, and Painter, a street artist from a dark technological world, as they overcome their differences and try and save the world. That one sounds very fun to me, and I've heard very, very good things about Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I'm very excited to read that one. It kind of a little bit that I've been told, which is a little bit spoilery, so I will leave it off of this video, but yeah, I'm very excited for how that one sounds. After that, we have 2 more in the Cosmere, and then we have 1 outside of the Cosmere. The 2 in the Cosmere still, we have The Sunlit Man, which is a man stranded on a planet where constant movement is necessary to survive the lethal sun. It sounds very, 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 very interesting. And with how he does magic and how he does story plots, I have a feeling that the constant move. I'm very interested, just to say the least. Yeah. And the last one in the Cosmere that I will be reading this year is Isles of Emberdark. And that is something that expands on his novella Sixth of the Dusk, which I have to pick that one up. I'm pretty sure, from what I understand, it is in Arcanum Unbound, and if it isn't, then I'll pick that up, add it to the list, and I will read that one before Isle of the Emberdark. But I'm just going with the assumption that it is in Arcanum Unbound because that's what I've been told. So it follows that story. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I think it's one of his newest works, if it's even out yet. But yeah, so far everything I've read by Brandon Sanderson and everything I've heard about his works, I'm very excited for. The one thing that I'll be reading by him that is outside of the Cosmere, we picked up at Salvation Army for like $1.95, and that was Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. I got the first one of that, and I'm very excited about that. Hold on one second. I don't want my computer to restart right this second. I don't know why it's trying to, but it is. Yeah. Okay, cool. After that, since we already have the first book, World's End, we will be doing the Age of Misrule trilogy by Mark Chadbourne. And that is a story of 5 champions that are trying to save the world from old gods coming back, and it revolves in UK and around Celtic gods, Greek gods. It just revolves around old kinds of gods that you would have actually heard of. So far, it's a very good read. I already bought the second one, and in that series we have Age of Misrule, World's End, which is already up on the channel. Then the 2 I will be reading this year, which are Darkest Hour and Always Forever, to wrap up the trilogy. After that, we will be jumping into a classic because it's one of The Hobbit's one of the first things that I read whenever I was younger. So for part nostalgia, I'm going to be rereading all of the Lord of the Rings, starting with The Hobbit. Then I'll do The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. If you do not know, The Hobbit follows a group of people going on an adventure. And the Lord of the Rings trilogy follows a lot of groups of people and one pairing mainly of 2 people as they try to destroy the ring and fight off the evils of their world. But they have to destroy the one ring. And it is... It doesn't get the credit that it's given for so long because it's a bad book. It gets the credit that it has been given for so long because it is truly a masterpiece. If you have not read The Lord of the Rings, just go do yourself a favor and just read it. Read it from start to finish. Maybe lock yourself in the room for a couple of weeks until you're done. Just do it. After that, I did forget, Lord of the Rings is by Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien. And then we have A Song of Ice and Fire by Martin. It is largely known for the TV show, even though I think it was largely known for the books before that, but I do believe the TV show grasped a lot of people, and that is where we will start with the Game of Thrones. Number 2, we have Clash of Kings. Number 3, we have A Storm of Swords. Number 4, we have A Feast for Crows. And number 5, to wrap up that saga, we have A Dance with Dragons. I love the TV show. I honestly think I'm going to love the books far more. I have never read these, so I am utmost, in the highest degree, as excited as I could be to read this series right here. I already have the Game of Thrones and A Feast for Crows. I found both of those for under $3. Salvation Army, Savers, go to these places. Also, Hoopla is a great app. If you have a library card, you can get Hoopla, and it's incredible. So, after Song of Ice and Fire, I'm going to be jumping into The Dark Tower by Stephen King. This is probably one out of all of these books that I'm the most excited about because I love Stephen King and I cannot wait to see how he connects his universe together. And I hear that is done mostly through this book series. And we will start with The Gunslinger. Number 2, The Drawing of the Three. Number 3, The Wastelands. Number 4, Wizard in Glass. Number 5, The Wind Through the Keyhole. Number 6, Wolves of the Kala. Number 7, Song of Susanna. And number 8, to finish it, The Dark Tower. Like I said, I am very, very excited for that series. I really don't know what else to say other than that I am just so extremely excited about it. It is the tale of Roland's quest to find the Dark Tower, which is a fabled building said to be the nexus of all universes. I cannot wait. I just simply cannot wait. From there, we are going to jump into the Dark Elf Trilogy by Salvatore. And I will be reading a lot more of the Forgotten Realms universe, but this is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to read Homeland, number 2, Exile, and number 3, Sojourn. Drizzt, everything I've heard about him, YouTube videos that I've heard about him, just sounds absolutely epic to me, and I cannot wait to read that aura farming elf. I can't say how much more I'm excited about that. It just, yeah. From there, I'm going to jump into a series that I saw on Netflix this year. It was a trilogy, but then when I looked it up, I realized that there were more books than there were movies, and that is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. And that starts with The Maze Runner, number 2, Scorch Trials, number 3, Death Cure, and then you go into the epilogue. From my understanding, the next 2 books are the epilogue, so it actually comes before. So I'm not sure if I will read them before or after The Maze Runner. Honestly, I'm just honestly not sure since I've already seen the movies. I might read the books out of publishing order and might read them in chronological order. And the other 2 are The Killing Order, number 4, and number 5, The Fever Code. The movies were absolutely encapsulating and incredible, and I hear the books have more to it, the story's better, the characters are more in depth, obviously. I mean, what you can do with the book is just simply more than what you can do in a movie, and movies will never be able to, I won't say never because who knows what they'll be able to do with technology, but I am very excited to see the transition of how the books are versus how the TV shows, with how much I enjoy the movie, with how much I enjoyed the movies. And then from there, I'm going to be jumping into 2 back-to-back trilogies that I am very, very excited about, and that is Robin Hobb, she wrote both of these, and the first one is Farseer Trilogy, and the second one is Living Ship Traders Trilogy. The Farseer Trilogy is the story follows a group of people, one guy who's an illegitimate heir to the throne of the six duchies, as he is trained as an assassin to protect the kingdom from invaders and his treacherous uncle. I don't know much about this. I've just been recommended this one a lot, and I've been told that the second that I get done with the Farseer trilogy, I'll jump straight into the next trilogy. But the Farseer trilogy has Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin, and Assassin's Quest to finish that trilogy. And like I said, I'll be jumping straight into the Live Ship Traders trilogy after that, which has Ship of Magic, The Mad Ship, and to end that one, Ship of Destiny. I did not look up the second one because I was told not to, and then just surprised myself. So that is what I'm going to do. I suggest you do the same. But I've been told it will go up in your top books once you read these two trilogies. So I'm very excited about that. And next, one of the ones that sounds probably one of the most fun to me, we're going to be jumping into Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This looks like a long series, and it looks like it's not over yet. I am super excited. It starts with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Second is Carl's Doomsday Scenario. Third is the Dungeon Archist's Cookbook. The fourth is The Gate of the Feral Gods. Number 5, we have The Butcher's Masquerade, with 6 being The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. Number 7, we have This Inevitable Ruin. And then the last one that's out so far, we have A Parade of Horribles. Everything I've heard about this one just sounds like it's just a joyride to get through. It's going to be absolute banter the whole time. It's a story about Carl and his cat who are forced to do a bunch of brutal alien games and different things to survive. And yeah, it just sounds awesome. It's got monsters, traps, humor, action. From what I hear, it has everything. So I'm super excited, super excited about that. Next, we have a series that I've already started. I've already started the first one because it was on Hoopla. And sometimes when I'm out doing things with my kids and I forget my book, I just wanted to read, so I just downloaded this. And that is by Joe Abercrombie, the First Law Trilogy, starting with The Blade itself. I've already been introduced to a couple of characters. Logan Ninefingers, Glocta, they are awesome characters. The way this man writes, he had me enjoying a scene where an older gentleman walks down a flight of stairs. The way that he described it and just the inner thought of the guy speaking how he feels about the pain of walking down the stairs, it was incredible. It's a grim, dark fantasy saga focused on cynical, morally gray characters navigating a world of brutal warfare. Like I said, this is one of the ones that I'm most excited about. This, his writing style is absolutely incredible, and the grim, dark part of it, the war part of it, the grittiness of it. I like I said, I'm only a couple of chapters in, but I'm already very much enjoying it. I cannot wait to finish that one. I just absolutely cannot. And then from there, we have, The King Slayer Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss. And I'll just read it off to you. A renowned artist and musician as he recounts his life story to a chronicler, from his current life as a humble innkeeper. Just a hero shooting the shit. It sounds fucking incredible. This is also one that I've seen from a lot of YouTubers and TikTokers talking about. So it's one that I had to add to my list. It has, starting with, The Name of the Wind, second, The Wise Man's Fear, and third, The Doors of Stone. Like I said, I cannot wait for that one. After that, we do have a couple of other series. I threw in some easier to read series that I really am interested in, that I remember nostalgic wise liking whenever I was younger, so I wanted to read them myself and recap them. Starting with The Spiderwick Chronicles by Tony Ditterlizzi and Holly Black. It starts with The Field Guide, number 2, The Seen Stone, number 3, Lucinda's Secret, number 4, The Ironwood Tree, and number 5, ending it, is The Warmth of Mulgarath. Like I said, I just have nostalgia around this one. I remember really enjoying the books whenever we read them in school, whenever I was a kid. It follows two brothers and a sister that got uplifted out of their city life, moved out into their aunt's house, and they uncover a fantasy world. And it's their adventures. After that, I have the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Rick Riordan. This is one of my favorite hero journeys that I remember reading while I was growing up. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Harry Potter, which, by the way, I have Harry Potter on this list. I cannot wait to jump back into this series, since there are two books that were not out whenever I read it. But to start with, we have The Lightning Thief. Then we have The Sea of Monsters. Then we have The Titan's Curse. And then we have The Battle of the Labyrinth. The last one that I read back in the day, we have The Last Olympian. And then there's two new ones that I have not read, which are The Chalice of the Gods, and lastly, Wrath of the Triple Goddess. Like I said, it's one of the best hero journeys that I've ever read and that I remember nostalgic-wise. It follows the son of Poseidon, and it's just incredible. Then also by Rick Riordan, we have Heroes of Olympus, which is in the same universe, just follows a couple of other different heroes from my understanding. We have Book 1, The Lost Hero, Book 2, The Son of Neptune, Book 3, The Mark of Athena, Book 4, The House of Hades, and Book 5, The Blood of Olympus. It is in the same universe, just follows different heroes. If you like Percy Jackson, from my understanding, you will love these. I have not read any of them. I did not read those back in the day, so I cannot give you anything more than that on those. Well, my mouse fell asleep. Which is fine. Not a big deal. Okay. From there, we're going to be jumping into Harry Potter, which Harry Potter is incredible writing. Just absolutely incredible writing. We start with Philosopher's Stone, then we jump into Chamber of Secrets, followed by Prisoner of Azkaban, and then we have Goblet of Fire, rounding out the last three with Order of Phoenix, then we have Half-Blood Prince, and lastly, to finish the series, we have Deathly Hallows. They're phenomenal reads. They really are. I can't say anything bad about the books themselves. They are phenomenal reads. Just absolutely phenomenal reads. And from there, we have one more series and then a standalone book. The last series that I'm going to read for the year is the Red King series by Jenny Nemo, which follows Charlie Bone and his stories. We start with Midnight for Charlie Bone, and then we have The Time Twister, then we go to The Invisible Boy, then we have The Castle of Mirrors, followed by The Hidden King, and then for the last three, we have The Beast, then we have The Shadow, and to end the series, we have The Red Knight. If you like Harry Potter, but you want a difference in landscape and a little bit different of a main character, this will capture you. I read the first two whenever I was younger. I cannot wait to read the whole series now. And to end our 100th book of 2026 by M.L. Wang, we have The Sword of Kagan, a Theonite war story. It is the story that follows a family of elite warriors as their isolated traditional life is shattered because of war and how they navigate through it. I hear it's one of the most incredible books in the fantasy genre of all time. I put it on here because it encompasses some of my favorite historical fiction type things. And like I said, this whole list, honestly, all 100 of these books, I really do. I'm going to push myself and see if we can't get through them all. I'm so excited to just push these stories into my brain. And it's going to help me as I write through my books. I guess I have 4 outlines already done. So I have 4 planned. But join us. Challenge yourself to read some more this year. And let's see how many books we can knock out as a community. And, thank you for joining us today. The new review is out for My Hero Academia. I will be putting one out for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood very soon. I'm just recapping on some things. It's been like 2 or 3 years since I watched that one again. I've seen it a couple of times. It is my favorite manga of all time. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, my favorite manga of all time. Perhaps maybe my favorite story of all time. I do absolutely love it. Like I said, that will be out very soon. At the latest Saturday, I will be putting it out. It will be done by Saturday and out on the channel. So, thank you guys again for joining us today, and I hope you guys have an awesome week. Later.